So I was an executive in the higher education industry for a little over 16 years. I spent the last 12 as a university president for a fairly small nonprofit healthcare university here in Florida. After 12 years of doing that, decided that I wanted to hit the reset button. I really loved working with, the students in that area and watching them grow in their careers, but I really loved working with the other business leaders in the community. Developed great relationships and got really involved in the community. And when the opportunity with Vistage came along, I thought this was a great way for me to transfer my leadership skills and the relationships that I had already established in the community into a way of working with more local business owners, but really diving into, what makes a great leader. How do you build a great organization? So I'm working with the decision makers. I'm working with the individuals who are tasked with, financial success, with growth, with employee engagement, employee morale. So I'm really working with those decision makers on how to take their business to the next level. So these are already successful business owners in their own right, and they're ready to take their business to the next level. So, I think the biggest problem for a CEO or a business owner is that, it's very lonely at the top, right? What's that saying? Wind blows the strongest at the top of the mountain. It's true. So there's almost a feeling of isolation. A lot of these business owners, they don't have boards per se. They don't really have someone a like-minded business individual that they can go to, and they can talk through business challenges, business opportunities. So it removes that feeling of isolation. I also think you combine the best of both worlds. There's certainly value in having a business coach, but I don't believe that that's enough by itself. So, what I do is I combine the value of a business coach, but really with the strength in a peer collaboration. So these CEOs are able to be around other CEOs that either are facing or have faced the same, challenges and opportunities in their business. So it's really the best of both worlds. Everyone has a strategic plan or a business plan, and, we have great vision, but having the discipline to actually then implement that, and follow that through and bring that all to fruition, whether it's a 3-year outlook or a 5-year outlook or a 10-year outlook, it really doesn't matter. I think with the accountability, that's a big factor in what I do as well, because a lot of CEOs, they're really not accountable to anyone. I mean, again, if you're at the top of the food chain, you don't have that level of accountability. Well, while you're involved with your peers, you do have accountability. You have accountability to them. You have accountability to give and to receive in terms of, suggestions and experience. You also have an accountability, I believe, to your team. You're taking a lot of this back, to your team at the organization. So I do think there's a heightened level of accountability. I think accountability and, discipline are key factors and really what a lot of the conversation goes around these days. I just heard someone say recently that, all CEOs have, ADHD. We're all looking for that shiny new object, and we hear a presenter or we read something and we fall in love with it, until the next thing comes along and then we fall in love with that. So, that's a challenge to find something that fits your organization and then stick with it. And again, see it through and incorporate it, as part of your plan for your organization. So yeah, I see that a lot, trying to keep these business executives on track. Some of that comes out in the peer group. There's accountability for the members of this peer group, where if they bring a business challenge or an opportunity to the group, and there's a lot of discussion around that, the expectation then is that when they come back to the next meeting, they're going to report out on what action they took. So it's not a lot of conversation without action following through on that. So when I'm working one-on-one with a business owner or business executive, we really need to identify what the pain points are. What are your pain points at this point in time? So there's some questions surrounding that. It's also, what has that individual done up to this point? So what are some resolutions that they've already tried? And how have those resolutions panned out? And if none of that has worked, let's look at what has worked, what hasn't worked, and then let's look for another resolution. But I think focusing on what those current pain points are and incorporating that with, vision. How is this current pain point going to impact your business down the road? Sometimes it can impact it by, overall employee morale. Sometimes it's growth opportunities. Sometimes it's a combination of those things. But really identifying what that impact is going to be long-term if the current situation isn't resolved. I love to see people succeed. I love to make the connections, to introduce people and connect people to other people that have, maybe shared vision or, can help each other grow. But I love to see, businesses succeed. I come from, I'm married to someone who was a, third generation entrepreneur. I have entrepreneurs in my family. It's funny because I laugh and I tell people, I worked in so-called corporate America for 16 years, and I tend to think that I took the easy road. I really admire those individuals that don't take the easy road. They have a vision, they have a passion, they set out on a road to make that come to fruition. I have a lot of respect for those individuals. So that's what really gets me going, is knowing that I can help them, I can contribute, and even if it's a small way, to their success and watch them grow.